Hello again. So what we're going to be looking here is histograms. Now, the problem that we've got with these questions is that they look very much similar to the questions where they're asking to work out what the mean will be equal to. Okay, but read the question. It says, draw a histogram. Okay, now a histogram I want you to know straight away is going to look like this. Okay, similar to bar chart. Okay, but it's called a histogram. So for this question here, okay, the main thing that we actually need to know is something called frequency density. Now, frequency density is always going to be on the left-hand side. So please don't confuse it with frequency, okay? Frequency density always goes on the left-hand side. On the bottom, we put the class width. Okay, so here we've got age. Now, the way to work out frequency density is simply frequency over class width. Okay, so I'm going to put CW. So we need to create a new column, okay, called frequency density. So FD. Now FD for frequency density, so it's going to be 20 divided by the class width. So the class width between 30 and 20, the class width is actually 10. So therefore that's why the frequency density here is 2. The next one is 22 divided by 5. So 22 divided by 5, which gives us 4.4. Then 16 divided by 5, which gives us 3.2. 13 divided by 10, which gives us 1.3. And 15 divided by 9, which would give us 1.6 recurring. Okay, so it says draw the histogram for this information on this table. So you need to create the scale. Okay, that's the difficulty with this question, finding what would be the scale. So say, for example, I'm going to say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So why have I done that? Well, now, for me, it means that each individual line here goes up in 0.1. So let's do the first one. Okay, so the first one says frequency density is 2, 20 to 30. So 20 to 30, so in fact, let's do a scale underneath also. Let's do 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Okay, if you've got a bigger scale, so if you've gone and done 20, 40, 60, 80, okay, and you've got in the middle, that is also correct. Okay, so let's see for this question. First one, 20 to 30. So for 20 to 30, we've got here, so that's 30 there for us. So 20 to 30 and it goes up to 2. Okay, so please make sure you use a pencil for these, yeah? So straight away, that's the first one. Next one, 4.4, 30 to 35. 35 is there, and it goes to 4.4, which is 4.4 just here. Yeah, so another straight line. Continuing with 35 to 40, it's got to go to 3.2, so 3.2 is there. The way down. And continues with 40 to 50 goes to 1.3. And then 1.6 recurring for 50 to 65. 65 would be here. There we go. So this is what we'd actually have for it. Okay, so this is what the histogram will simply look. If you want, you can colour it in. Okay, so you've got one section, second section, third section, fourth, and fifth. And that's all it'd be. Okay, that's it. So the question just asked us to work out the histogram. We can use this though to do other questions. Okay, so this question can potentially actually ask you to work out the median, say for example, okay, an estimate for the median. Same again, I've got a question, pause this video, okay, and think, what would you do? So hopefully you've tried this question by yourselves. First thing we'd have to do is make a new column called frequency density. So 9 over 15. So 9 divided by 15. 0.6. 16 divided by 10. Obviously 1.6. 25 divided by 5. And 10 divided by 20. 0.5. Okay, so this is a frequency density. So remember, make sure that frequency density always goes on the left hand side. And underneath class width, or weight you could actually put. So it starts at 60, so let's start at 60, 60, 70, 80, no, it's too small, so let's go 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. I want to go to 110, don't I? So back again. Let's do 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and 110. Okay. So I've made a scale, so it goes all the way up to 1.6, so all the way up to 5 even, that's the biggest one. So 1 here, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And let's use this. So between 60 to 75, it goes all the way up to 0.6. Next one, 75 to 85, it goes to 1.6. Then you've got 85 to 90, it goes to 5. And then 90 to 110, it goes to 0.5. Okay, done. I've done a histogram. So it says find an estimate for the median. Now, for a lot of you, you're thinking, is that an estimate? Do I need to round to a significant figure? No, you don't need to do that. But you will be estimating because they are group data, so you don't know exactly what the value would actually be. So you've got 60 pigs, okay? So the median would be the 30th. So you're trying to find out where that 30th would actually be. Now, you should know already that the area for each of these rectangles actually represents frequency, okay? Because why is that? Frequency density is frequency over class width. So therefore frequency must be frequency density times class width. So therefore, in order to work out this, it would be 15 times 0.6, which will give us 9, obviously. So I've got 9 people here, I've got 16 according to the graph, 25, and 10. So I'm looking to find where would that 30th person would actually be, okay? So I'd find an estimate for the median. So 30th pig given, not person. So between here, I have got 25. So I need, in this class, I need another 5 people. 5 pigs given. So 9 and 16 is 25 plus another 5 pigs. So for this section here, I know that I need a frequency of 5. I know the frequency density is actually 5. So I'm thinking, what else do I need? Well, I need to find out how far to the right of this line I need to go in order to work out the class width. So the class width would be worked out as frequency over frequency density. The frequency is 5, the frequency density happens to also be 5, so the class width is 1. So we need to actually work out how much more. So if here is the number 85, I need to add an extra 1. So therefore the median will be 86 kg. So this is why we're using this, okay? We're using this in order to add it to the previous, to the where the class actually started. So, another question for histogram. Now we need to use this histogram in order to actually work out the table. So, let's see what we've actually got. So we've got 40 to 45. So we've got this section here. So we know nothing really for this. So 40 to 45. But we've got information for 35 to 40. We've got 35 to 40. So we can actually work out what this height would be. Why is that? Well, the other table that we need is a table for frequency density. Now the frequency density gives us the heights for each of these bars. So frequency density is the height of this bar. So this is 42 over 5, which gives us 8.4. So that means this height here is 8.4. So how many gaps we've actually got here? Let's see. So you've got 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, 42. So 8.4 divided by 42. 8.4 divided by 42, which would give us 0.2. So what does this mean? Why have I done that? Well, now I know that each individual line represents 0.2. So if that's 0.2, that'll be what? So 0.2 times this, that'll be 2, that'll be 4, that'll be 6, that'll be 8. So therefore the height for this section here must be 6. So the frequency density for this is 6. So frequency density is 6. So how do we find frequency? So frequency density is frequency, again, of a class width. So therefore frequency must be frequency density times the class width. So 6 times 5, so therefore that would be 30. So let's use this information as frequency density. So 12 divided by 25 gives us 0.48. And therefore we've got 28 divided by 10, obviously 2.8. And 60 divided by 45, which would give us 1.3 recurring. Sorry, 9 even, sorry, divided by 15, which would give us 0.6. And also here, this one will be 12 divided by 15, which would give us 0.8. Yeah, so I think I've got these right now. So double check this one, 28, yeah, done. So first one goes all the way up to 0.8, which would be here. So 0.8, and the class width is 10 to 25. So it goes all the way up to here. First one down. Next one is 25 to 35 and 2.8. And the last one, because we've done the other two already, 0.6, 45 to 60 goes to 0.6. Okay, so that's all we had to do for this question. So last type of question could potentially ask you, okay, so the diagram shows the information, again, for the weight of pegs, again, instead of people. So 30 pegs weigh between 50 and 65. So 30 pegs weigh between 50 and 65. So between 50 and 65, you've got 30. So how can I use that information? Well, it means that the frequency density is frequency of a class width. So 30 over 15. So that means this is 2. If that's 2, this is 4. And that's 6. That is 8. And that is 10 for us. Okay. So explain your answer. So we need to find out what would each of these be. So that would be 6, times 6 times 5, so that'll be 30 people again here. 5 times 6, 5 times 8, which is 40. Then you've got 10 times 4, which is 40 again. And 15 times 2, so 15 times 1 even. So that is 15 people. Work out an estimate for the number of pigs which weigh more than 80 kg. So more than 80. So you want half of this, so therefore 20 plus 15. So you've got 35. This is our estimate, okay? 35. Explain why your answer in part A is on an estimate. Well, it's an estimate because we are actually using ungrouped data. That is why it's an estimate. So you would answer this question in writing. So we are using group data. We don't know how many pigs weigh between 80 and 85 kg. And that's it. Okay, the main one is this, because you are using grouped data.